Hello everyone, and peace of Christ all of you. I hope my voice coming good and clear. Please invite your friends and let us have some education time. I know that the time was set mistakenly too late, but what will be too late for me? So we changed the time, and people will come. As you see the title and the picture, this is not a picture I made. There is someone, they call him activists. Activists. He's very active, So he decided to do a trick to see how much the Americans are tolerant. So this is smart, genius guy. He said, let us make a sign. It says, in Allah we trust. Like, don't the Americans, they say, in God we trust? So, it's not different, right? So let us make it in Allah we trust. His name is Stevens, and Chaz Stevens. So he said, they did not say anything about the language, Stevens said, and as an artist, it is always art forward for me. So I thought, well, know what look good, and then it's occurred to me that Arabic is beautiful. He said his goal with his campaign is the same as with his previous whatever. Here you see the stupidity of those people who do not know what they are saying. Allah is not just, it's not a word meaning God. Allah is not a word meaning God. Because if it's a word meaning God, then the Muslim, they will say there's no God, there's no Allah but Allah. But you will never see a Muslim saying that. The Muslim, they say there's no God but Allah. So Allah is a name for the God, not a word meaning God. And this is what happened for those donkeys who live in the West or around the world. They put their fingers in things they do not know what they are saying, what is exactly what they are asking for. And as long as he mentioned this topic, well, let us go for it. Can we trust Allah? Very good question. So he made an article saying, he made a sign, and he want to publish it in schools. Schools got upset in Texas, and they said to him, we will not allow such a thing. And then the Muslim, they will say, look how much phobia they have. Come on, don't you say in God we trust? We trust God, but we cannot trust Allah. For Allah is an evil creature. If he exists, he is Satan. Now let us examine if this is really can be happening, can be true. Like, can we say we trust Allah? When you say trust, you trust in what? You have a kid who want to play in the street. What the first thing will come to your mind to trust your kid to play in the street? Safety, security, right? He will go, he will play, he will have fun, and he will be back. You do trust. You want to do investment. You put your money maybe in the bank because you don't want thieves to steal your money. So the first thing you do is you trust the bank. You choose a bank you trust. Anything in life is based on trust. A woman marry a man, she trusts him. The man, he marry the woman, he trusts her. Trust is a major issue. But trust cannot be done between enemies. Between one want to kill you and one is going to be the victim. This is the filthy Quran, the book of Muhammad. As you see, we are showing you reference. We don't make speeches like those people. They make, in Allah we trust. What does that mean? Do you know who's Allah? Do you know what Allah wants? To make it simple before we start, Allah wants to kill the Jews, the Christians, the Hindus, the Buddhists, the atheists, the gays, the lesbian, and everyone who is not a Muslim. So how you say, in Allah we trust? This is chapter 5, verse number 14. And listen, I'm not showing you my website. This is the Muslim Quran. This is the Muslim translation. And this is your stupidity, the one who made this, the activist. He said, and from those who call themselves Christians, we took their covenant, but they abandoned good part of the message that we sent to them. So we planted among them enmity and hatred till the day of resurrection. So the God you are saying you want to trust, is an evil God. He insists to plan hatred and enmity between the Christians. So like now, we planted enmity and hatred between 3 billion human beings. That's it, for fun, just because Allah don't like us. You know, this God, the God of Muhammad, the terrorist, he don't like us, so he decided to, you know, put hatred in our heart. What about the Jews? Did Allah treat the Jews differently? No. If we go in the Quran, we will find this. The Jews, chapter 5, the same chapter, verse number 64. Allah, the filthy, aka shaitan, aka Muhammad, saying that Allah will spread hatred between the Jews until the day of resurrection. Look how much loving. So who in the world is going to trust somebody? Let us say you have a house, you have a friend, and you have a friend, and this friend, he go outside your home and he want to spread hatred inside the family. I think we can't trust him, can't we? So he speak to the wife to make her hate the husband. He speak to the husband, he make him to hate the wife. He speak to the children to make them hate their parents. And the stupid you, Mr. Stephen, you want to have a sign, it says, in Allah we trust. Let us continue. Allah want to kill every single Christian and every single Jew in the world. And not only that, actually, every single unbeliever. Chapter 9, verse number 29 says it clearly that the Muslims have a duty, and the duty is to fight and kill whoever don't believe and don't forbid what Muhammad he came with. So not only you have to say Shahada, you have to practice Islam. If you don't practice Islam, still they will kill you, even if you say Shahada. Not only you say Shahada, practice Islam, what else? You have to practice Sharia law, which is Islam. So you have to forbid what is forbidden. So if you practice what is forbidden, they will kill you. And you have to accept, because you did not acknowledge the truth according to Muslims, which is Islam, you have to die. You know. However, if you are a Christian or a Jew, you have to pay. You pay, we will let you live. You live like a dog. If you go to Ibn Kathir, the filthy Muhammad, he said, you can read it there, the same interpretation. You see, this is not, there's scholars' interpretation. And actually, why we need the interpretation, you know. The filthy Muhammad, he said, don't start the Christians and the Jews by saying salam. Don't ever say that. Those are dogs. Those are filthy. There's a video actually of Yasser Qadi. He was describing the Christians and the Jews are the filth of the earth, the trash, the garbage. You can go watch it. We played it here before. But Muhammad, he made it clear. The one you are saying, in Allah we trust. And you want to put his sign in schools because you are a donkey. You are a certified donkey, literally. He said, when you see a Jew or a Christian, never salute them. And not only that, force them to walk in the sewage. You know what? For sure we trust Allah now. I mean, thank you very much. So those, you know, silly, they call themselves activists. They make, you know, stupid things, you know, just to get attention and to, you know, and now those liberals, they invite them for interview. And the guy, and look what those Christians did. They took the sign down. The guy did nothing wrong. I mean, we don't say in God we trust. Come on, we say that always. So if you are a believer, why you don't say in Allah we trust? Those stupid liberals and whoever support such an act, they are ignorant to the bones. They do not know they are digging their grave. They remind me of the filthy, stupid, idiot Biden, just because you want to make the Muslim vote for him, and they are a little tiny minority in USA. But everything for sale, honor for sale, ethic for sale in the Democratic Party. So he was quoting Muhammad, who he said, well, if one of you saw something wrong, change it by your hand. If you cannot change it by your hand, change it by your tongue. If you cannot change it by your tongue, well, change it by your heart. Or fight it by your heart. So the filthy Biden was asking the Muslim to do terrorist attack. Because he just told them, if you don't like something, change it by your hand. This is the example. This is the example of the stupidity in the West society, or even maybe in Asia or workplace. There is a lot of donkeys all around the world. And when you are a donkey, actually you are useful for many. I mean, many, they will like you the second you say the truth. People, they frame you, phobia, hateful, is dividing. I remember once I was making a speech, and the one senator, I forgot his name, he became the foreign minister of the Philippines, the previous presidency. So I was quoting some verses like now. So a Christian minister from a church is called Anna something. I forgot really the name. I made a video about it. Somebody can remind me. They are like well known in Canada. So suddenly he says, "What is the point of what you are saying to us on the stage? I mean, are you like what do? You divide people? You divide?" So I said to this idiot who called himself minister, and I went actually to his website, his Facebook. I found how many posts he made quotation of Muhammad said, Prophet Muhammad said. So this donkey, he copied what Muhammad said, which is false, by the way. The Muslim says that. So he says, look how beautiful this, look how nice. He is promoting Islam in his church. And the funny is, if I tell the truth, I'm dividing the people, as if this truth is not in front of us. And this is what the filthy, stupid Joe Biden, he quoted. He's asking the Muslim to do terrorism. If you see an evil, ask the Muslims, what is evil in USA? They will say to you everything. Hey, Biden, he said, if you see somebody drinking beer, beat him, kill him. This is what Biden said to them. If you see someone is a gay, well, you kill him. This is what Biden is saying. If you see someone is a Christian praying to Jesus, we'll kill him. This is wrong. This is evil for the Muslims. If you see someone is Buddha or Hindu or whatever, kill him. So those people are the most dangerous people, who they mislead your children. They don't share the truth with you about them just because they want to be politically correct and they want to have a gain in politics. And those people, nobody should vote for them unless you are following Muhammad. The second you say the truth, this is what it says. If you see something wrong, change it by your hand. It's a call for violence. Muhammad, he claimed that the Muslims are the best for mankind. Okay, why? Why they are the best for mankind? What exactly they do? Maybe science? Maybe they will find a cure for disease? What exactly they will do? No. You are the best for people ever raised up for benefit of mankind. Okay, how exactly will you bring the people and the chain around their neck? So can we trust Allah? Can we? What about this? Muhammad, he asked the Muslims to kill every single Jew in the world, and he said to them, well, you know what? Time will come, and if a Jew, he tried to hide behind a tree or a stone, the tree and the stone will scream and they will say, you know what? There is a Jew behind me. Come and kill him. This is the truth. It's in front of you. You see, we are not adding things. This is a Muslim website hosted in USA, supported by the Deen Show, very well known, like this guy Yusuf State and those, but for sure the money is coming from the oil, This is their website. This is not my website. It's not my words. We have it in Arabic, we have it in English. We have the number. We have the reference. Every single Muslim believes in this. And then you'll find a dummy, he says, in Allah we trust. Not to mention Islam, the Quran teaching beating women. Do you trust them? Hey, let us start teaching beating women in school, brother. Mr. Stephen, you are an activist. You are a genius, you idiot. The Quran says that a human being, a man, the good man actually is the one who beat his wife, because he is schooling her, teaching her how to behave. So what we will do? We put in a school, maybe, in Allah we trust, how to deal with women. Like a woman, you say to her, make coffee for me. What do? You beat her if she is late. There are some Muslims, they try to be smart. They say, no, this is not about this. What if your wife cheating on you? Supposedly he fixed it now. Abdul, son of Muta. If your wife cheat on you, Muslims, they stone her to death. So stop being a liar. This is not about cheating, you coward. And by the way, in Islam, it's impossible to find a woman cheating. Why? Because you have to get 4 witnesses and they have to see the penis going in and out. Good luck with that, you know. So if you go in, in chapter An-Nisa, chapter 4, verse number 34, you will see the Quran say clearly, beat your wives, just beat them. And like some Muslims, they try to make it nice. They say, brother, we beat her with the miswak. You know what miswak is? Like 1 inch. The miswak is a long root. It's a tree root. It's very flexible to the point they use it to drive the camels. This is not the one they show you that the 1 inch, because now it's became commercial. The miswak is a root of a tree, very flexible. They beat a donkey with it. So we beat that, the Prophet says, don't beat them harshly. Okay, well, until what? Until you break their bones, which means you can't beat them, but you make their skin green. You can go right now to Al-Bukhari, and here it says in front of you actually, if you feel like your wife, she is being rebellion, if you fear, she did not do anything yet. If you fear, well, admonish them, banish them in the bed. He have 4 wives, he will stop, doing anything with her. And then scourge them, brother. Some Muslim translation, they fix it, they say, beat them lightly. Man, lightly, brother. It's a punishment. Have you ever heard of a light punishment? Lightly. Like what? You tickle her? Islam considers the woman, she has half a brain. She cannot be a witness in the court for any capital punishment, only in the case of borrowing money. Like if a woman, she see a murder, she cannot be a witness in Islamic court. Imagine, even if 1 million women, they saw a murder, they cannot be a witness. Even if 1 million women, they saw a woman cheating her husband, they cannot be witness. It have to be men, for this religion made by the man for the man. Now, for sure we can trust Allah now. A woman, her husband, her Muslim Abdul husband, very good Abdul, he did beat his wife until her clothes became greener, her skin became greener than her clothes. What Muhammad did? Muhammad, he took the side with the man. It's in front of you. We're not making things up. Aisha, she said, look, her skin is greener than her clothing. What happened here? The woman, she didn't want to have sex with the husband. She married him temporarily so she can go previously to the previous husband, because Islam is a stupid religion. If you divorce your wife 3 times, you have to hire somebody to F your wife, and this woman, she have to be F literally. And Muhammad even, he said, you have to taste his juice, and he have to taste your juice, which is orgasm. And then after then, he can divorce you and you can go back to your previous husband. So this woman, she thought, okay, I will marry this guy, but I will not sleep with him. He's very old. She thought he will not be able even to do it. So later, he will get rid of her because she is not even letting him touch her. And she can go back to her husband. But that's not what he wants. He wants to sleep with her. So he started beating the hell of her until her clothing, until her skin became greener than her clothes. As you see in front of you, I'm not making things up. It's in front of you, it says, look, I have not seen any women suffering as much as I believe in women. So this is Aisha, the wife of Muhammad, witnessing that in town, between all the women, the only women who suffer is the Muslims. She saw a lot of bad men, but Muslim women are the most women who suffer. So this guy, in God, in Allah we trust, he will go, let us beat our wives, and we make their skin greener. Shall we? So those cowards who make stupid act because of their ignorance, we have to do our part and warn people about them. It might be like, okay, you are being terrorists. This is not about being terrorists, you idiot. This is about being stupid, because you are inviting the bear to your backyard to kill you. Do you want somebody to beat women like Taliban? Like the stupid Joe Biden, he brought 100,000 refugees running away from Taliban. Now half of them, they went back home to bring more family. How they are running from Taliban and they are coming back home? Biden, Democrat, they are always stupid. I never saw a party in the world more stupid than any party called themselves liberals. They are the most awkward, stupid, ignorant, self-destruct believers. They do everything in the wrong way. So my friend, I'm not going to keep you long. I know I came in the wrong time. Actually, I was, the time I said was wrong. But you know, people can share and download. So if somebody asks you, can we believe in Allah? Well, do you want somebody to put a chain around your neck? If you do that, no problem. Believe in, trust Allah. Trust the Muslims. And not to forget to mention, the Muslims been ordered that they should lie to you. A Muslim should not be honest with someone is a Christian or a Jew or a Hindu. It is something they call taqiyya. Taqiyya means lie to them, speak to them in a friendly way, but in your heart you should be just like this. And this is the official government website of the King of Jordan. This is our friend. This is our friend, the brother, the King of Jordan. The one in the West, they give him like money, support, even weapon. USA, his salary, the salary of the king, and the salary of his army, and the salary of his intelligence is all paid by USA. Take not Christians and Jews. This is the same we find in chapter 5, verse number 51. Take what? Take not Christians and Jews as a friends. Okay, what we take them then? They are enemy. We cannot take them as a friends. Are you kidding me? You cannot take Christians and Jews as a friends. You can take them as a friends, as a protectors or helpers. So how a Muslim he come and take an oath in the Constitution of USA or in England? He make an oath to protect the Queen of England. It says here you cannot take them as friends. You cannot take them as protectors. You cannot take them as helpers, etc. And the one who take them as friend or protector or helper, he is one of them. He is unjust. We are the evildoers. We are the devil, according to Muhammad. The one who do that, and any one of you, he do take them as awliya, which is explained here in front of you, friends, protectors, helpers, etc. The one who take them as a awliya or a friend or a helper or protector, surely he is one of them, which means kill him. And this potato is saying to us, in Allah we trust. What's wrong with people? How far the stupidity can go. Muhammad, the first terrorist in the world, he says, I've been victorious by terror. It's in front of you. It doesn't say that, CP. Actually, Muhammad, he said that he was victorious by terror from a distance of 1 month journey. I mean, do you see how nice he is? People, they hear Muhammad is coming from 1 month journey, they surrender. They did not arrive yet. It's in front of you. It doesn't say that, CP. And you have a phobia, okay? Islam is very beautiful. It says here, I was victorious by terror. You see, the Muslim, they put frighten my enemy. It's the fact, it says terror. From a distance of 1 month journey. And the earth is made for me and my followers lawful. We have to take it. I mean, what we will do with those donkeys? What we will do? Endless numbers of donkeys around us. We have a problem, and the problem is ignorance. You put a statement, in Allah we trust. Does Allah He allow having sex with the children? You cannot even trust Muhammad to have an infant in his lap. Go watch my video debating a Muslim. He says, so what? Allah He allow me to have sex with the baby. What the problem? But I did not do that. I hope people will be smarter, and let us keep the video shorter so we can share it easier. Be careful from those idiots who they are trying to deceive you under the title of tolerance. You know, we are being friendly, we are being nice. I mean, why? You know, don't you say in God we trust? Yeah, nobody trusts the devil, my friend. This is the devil teaching, spreading hate between the Christians, spreading hate between the Jews. He want to kill every single Jew. He want to kill every single Christian. He want to kill every single Hindu, every single atheist. And then the dummy you say, in Allah we trust. This guy, he never heard that when the terrorists, they scream Allahu Akbar. And do you know why they scream that? Muhammad told them that will install terror in the heart of the enemy. Even when they scream their God name, is for the purpose of terror. For me, when the Muslim they scream Allahu Akbar, I fart. I fear nobody, and your God will never have fear in my heart. In fact, my experience with the Muslim terrorists, they are cowards, and they are only brave on the weak. When the Israeli army go in their land, this is the land of the Jews, not the Muslims, as many they say. Go read history. Even the stupid Quran says so. Chapter 5, verse number 21. In chapter 5, verse number 21, it witnessed that this is the land of the Jews. And then you will see an activist says, the Israeli are taking the land of the Jews, you know, it's Palestinian. This is the Muslim book. Allah, He ordered the Jews to take it. And not only that, to kill everyone live there. And because the Jew refused to do what Allah He ordered them, He punished them to lose their way for 40 years in the desert. The story in front of you for the ignorant, because they refused to go and kill. 40 years you cannot enter it. So the one who ordered the Jews to go and kill Palestinians, by the way, Palestinian is not Hamas, those are the Arab who occupy after the 6th century. Even after Muhammad's death. Before that, there is no single Arab lived there. Nobody speaks Arabic in that territory. So stupidity is the problem in this world. Stupidity is our enemy. Let us fight stupidity together. Intelligence is way, way more expensive than gold and silver. You can get rich, but you cannot be educated if you are rich with your, you are ignorant with a lot of money. Still, you are dumb. You are dummy. And nobody even respects you, even the one who shake their head for you. Your money will never make you respected. Because always people will look at you as a fool. There is someone, he can be very poor, and you respect him very much, or you respect her very much. Because even though he is a poor, he is wise. But rich and ignorant, I mean, here is more hilarious, because you are the one who can afford to go to school. You are the one who can go and read, to go university, the most expensive one maybe. Yet you are a donkey. And this is why I like what the Chinese, they said, he left as a donkey, he never come back as a horse. I want to say thank you all for being here, and I will see you soon again. May the Lord bless you. Christ is Lord, Islam is false, and this is your brother Christian Prince, was serving you humbly for today, and sorry for coming late. All right, see you in the coming podcast, and maybe in the coming podcast we will talk about paganism in Islam, and maybe we'll see, because this will need more concentration, and I'm trying to make the videos shorter so people, they can share it easier. Thank you, and God bless you, and talk to you soon. With my love. Take care.